Hello. I'm James, and I live in Manchester in the UK. And you're listening to English with a Brew, a podcast where I talk about different day-to-day topics to help you learn English the most natural way possible. And that is only by listening to it. If you want to support this podcast, read transcripts, and get exclusive access to more content, go to patreon.com/English with a Brew. So, as we say in Manchester, get a brew on and let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening once again. How are you all doing? As always, I hope you're feeling happy, relaxed, and having a good day. Today's episode has a fun, to me, topic. Something maybe a little different. But today I'm going to talk about something people mention a lot when I speak to someone who is learning English. And that is the differences and maybe the similarities between American English and British English, which I speak, I suppose. American English and British English are two dialects of the same language. And so the majority of words and phrases are completely the same. They're identical. And so we can understand each other perfectly fine without problems. But there are some words and some phrases that are completely different between the two dialects. So let's talk about some of those. I'm sure you've heard of some of these before, but who knows, maybe there's some new ones in there too. Let's start with food, because there are some foods that have different names and can cause a little bit of confusion in a restaurant. For example, in the UK, chips are hot, fried sticks of potato. They're like fries, but thicker or wider. But in the US, in America, the word chips is used to describe the snack, the bags of thin, crispy potato you can buy and eat. But in England and the rest of the UK, they are called crisps. So a bag of crisps and a bag of chips are the same thing. Another similar example is sweets. In the UK, we use the word sweets. But in the US, they use the word candy. But they mean the same thing to describe the sweets or the candy that you can buy from a sweet shop. And usually they're full of sugar and not very good for your teeth, but tasty all the same. If you go to the supermarket and let's say you want to buy lots of things and you can't carry them all, too many things to carry. In the UK, you will need to use a shopping trolley. But in the US, you need a shopping cart to put all of your items in and push it round the supermarket. And while you're driving home after the supermarket, if you live far away, you might need to drive on the motorway in the UK. But in the US, you will drive on the highway. And when you finally get home, you may realize that you have forgotten something very important. Someone, maybe your friend or someone in your family, asked you to buy nappies for their baby. But you were looking for diapers and you couldn't find them. And that's because in the UK, babies don't wear diapers, they wear nappies. Now, someone needs to go back to the supermarket, and we all hope there isn't a toilet emergency. Okay, that last example may have been a little bit silly, just a bit of fun. Another fun example that could cause an uncomfortable moment is the word pants. Pants in America are the clothes that you wear to cover your legs. So before you leave the house for the day, you might say, okay, give me 5 minutes. I just need to change my pants. But in the UK, pants means underwear. And so if you said that in the UK, that would be a completely different story. And you might get some strange looks from people. In the UK, we call pants trousers. As I said before, these are all examples where there are two distinct words that mean the same thing. But there are some words where the differences are more subtle, less obvious. For example, in school, if you are going to your mathematics class, in the UK, you would say, we have maths next. Don't forget your calculator. But in America, there is no S at the end of the word maths. So you would say, we have math next. Don't forget your calculator. These are just some words or phrases that might sound different between British and American English. But I want to stress, to be super clear, that you should not worry about which word you use. For example, if we, by we I mean you and I, have a conversation in real life, and you use the word candy instead of the word sweet, I'm going to understand you perfectly fine. I will recognize that you're using the American word, sure, but it won't cause any problems. And remember that no English dialect is better or more correct than the other. It's just different. And so whichever English you learn or you speak, if you speak it well, your English is no worse or better than mine. It's just different and unique to you. But if you are going to remember one of these examples, I would recommend that you never take off your pants in public in the UK. Anyway, we're at the end of this episode, something a little different today. But if you found this interesting and you want to hear more examples like these, leave a comment and I'll make another episode. See you later. That's everything for today's episode of English with a Brew. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you did or if you didn't, and tell me what topics you'd like to hear me talk about in future episodes. And don't forget, if you want to support this podcast and get access to all of the exclusive episodes, you can do that on my Patreon page. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is where you are right now. Take care.